Okay, so have you ever felt like you're juggling chainsaws, right, while riding a unicycle?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, isn't that kind of how life feels sometimes? It's pretty crazy these days.
It really is.
But you know what? If I told you that there's like a secret superpower, you know,
Oh, I like superpowers. Tell me more.
that you could tap into to deal with all of this chaos,
I'm listening.
it's the art of letting go.
Ah, letting
Have you
go.
heard of that?
I have heard of it. And, it's not about ignoring your problems or
Right.
just like giving up completely.
Right. No, no, no.
It's more about choosing your battles strategically.
Yeah, I like that.
Letting go is really about releasing the things that we can't control so
Mhm.
we can actually focus our energy on the things that we can control so we can make a difference.
Okay, so letting go, I like the idea, but it's a little vague.
It is a little vague.
Like, what does that actually look like in practice?
Right. Well, imagine.
Because in theory, it sounds great, but,
Sure.
give me something concrete.
Yeah, imagine you're carrying this backpack around and it's just filled with rocks.
Uh-huh.
And each rock is like a worry, a frustration,
Yeah, that fact.
something weighing you down, right?
Yeah.
And letting go is like setting that backpack down. You
Oh,
finally feel your shoulders relax.
I can relate to that feeling, yeah.
Yeah.
But how do we actually set down the backpack,
Yeah.
Because you mentioned worries, frustrations, things that are weighing us down.
Yeah,
That backpack's heavy.
it is.
How do we set it down?
Well,
Our sources mentioned a whole bunch of techniques.
hmm.
Mindfulness, visualization, meditation.
Hmm.
That's kind of a lot.
It's a bit overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of approaches, but that's actually great
Okay.
because it means there's likely something in there that will click for you.
Okay.
But they all kind of share a common thread.
And what's that?
And that is releasing attachment to the things that we can't change.
Okay.
And so whether it's stressing over a past mistake or worrying about a future that hasn't happened yet.
Right, because we can't change the past.
Exactly.
We don't know what's going to happen in the future.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing those thoughts
hmm
and choosing to just let them go.
So it's not about just like erasing those thoughts
No.
entirely, but it's more about changing how we relate to them.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's a practice. It's not
Mhm.
like a one-time fix.
Sure.
It's like learning to ride a bike.
Yeah.
It takes time, it takes effort,
And you're going to fall a few times.
and maybe a few scrapes along the way, but eventually,
You get it?
it becomes second nature.
All right, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's get into some specifics.
Okay, yeah.
I'm curious about this idea of mindfulness.
Hmm.
I feel like I hear that word everywhere.
It's everywhere these days.
Yeah, but I'm still not sure if I totally get it.
Okay, sure.
Like, what is mindfulness?
Well, think about your typical day.
Okay.
It's probably a whirlwind of tasks, deadlines, just distraction.
Emails, texts,
Emails, texts, yeah.
social media?
Social media, oh my gosh. Yeah, and mindfulness is really about pressing pause on all of that.
On that whirlwind.
Yeah, even if it's just for like a few minutes.
Okay.
It's about noticing your breath, noticing your body, noticing your surroundings
Mhm.
without judgment.
Okay, so it's not about emptying your mind.
No.
It's more about observing what's there without being like swept away by every thought.
Exactly.
That's it.
And what's really cool is that studies have shown that even just a few minutes of mindfulness
Yeah.
can have some pretty incredible benefits for your physiology even.
Oh, wow.
Like it can lower your heart rate, decrease your cortisol levels, which is that stress hormone,
Oh, interesting.
and it can even improve your sleep quality.
I had no idea that it was like scientifically backed up.
Oh, yeah.
That's impressive for something that sounds so simple.
I know, right? And then there's visualization, which
Mhm.
can be so powerful. Have you ever tried that?
I've dabbled with it a little bit, but I was
Yeah.
never sure if I was doing it right.
Okay.
And it always felt a little too woo-woo for me, if
Yeah.
I'm being honest.
I get that. I totally get that.
Yeah.
But visualization is actually really grounded in neuroscience.
Oh, okay.
So when you create vivid mental images,
Mm-hmm.
your brain actually interprets them as real experiences.
Wow.
So it triggers a cascade of physiological and emotional responses.
That's fascinating. So if I'm visualizing myself, let's say calmly navigating a really stressful situation,
Yes.
like my brain's actually starting to believe that it's happening,
Yeah, exactly.
which can then calm me down in real life.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the idea.
Wow.
One of the techniques that was mentioned in our sources is to imagine your worries like leaves floating down a stream.
Okay.
So you're watching them drift away and you can almost feel that tension leaving your body.
Okay, I can see how that would be helpful. It's like giving your worries a physical form, and then you can watch them
Yes.
float away.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
And, speaking of seeing things in a new light,
Okay.
our sources have this compelling story. There's a guy named Piyush.
Okay, Piyush. Okay, so Piyush.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
So Piyush, he was dealing with like some major career burnout.
Okay.
That feeling of just being constantly stressed and overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And he was always worried about the future, and it was really taking a toll on his health and happiness.
I think a lot of us can relate to that feeling.
Oh,
That
absolutely.
pressure to always be on.
Yeah.
Striving for the next thing, never really feeling content.
Yeah. Always on that hamster wheel.
Yeah.
So Piyush, he decided to try meditation.
Okay.
And as he practiced regularly, he started noticing a shift.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he found himself like letting go of that need to control everything, to have all the answers.
Yeah.
And his anxiety decreased.
Wow.
And he started to feel like more energized and creative in his work.
Sounds like he wasn't just letting go of stress,
Right.
but he was actually creating space for something new to emerge.
Exactly. And here's the interesting part.
Okay.
As Piyush let go of that like tight grip on his career,
Uh-huh.
new opportunities started to present themselves,
Oh,
opportunities that he hadn't even considered before.
So it's like by releasing that resistance,
Yeah.
he actually attracted more of what he wanted?
Mm-hmm.
Is that where the connection to manifestation comes in?
It does. And this part can seem a bit paradoxical.
Okay.
I know, because how can you manifest something if you're not like actively chasing after it?
Right.
Right. So the key here is to shift your focus
Okay.
from the outcome itself
Mhm.
to the feeling that you want to experience.
I think I need an example
Okay, sure.
to really grasp this.
Yeah, let's say you're trying to manifest a new job. Instead
Sure.
of like obsessing over specific companies or job titles,
Right.
focus on the feeling that you want to have in that new role.
Mhm.
Do you want to feel challenged? Do you want to feel inspired?
Mhm.
Do you want to feel like you're making a difference?
Okay. Yeah.
So focus on cultivating those feelings in your current life.
So it's about aligning your energy with that feeling
Yes.
rather than getting caught up in all the details of how it's going to work out.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's where that letting go part comes in.
Uh-huh.
You're essentially handing over the reins to the universe,
Mm-hmm.
trusting that it will guide you to the right opportunities at the right time.
So it's like trusting that there's a biggest plan unfolding, even if we can't see the whole picture right now?
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
It's a beautiful blend of intention and surrender.
Intention and surrender.
Yes. And speaking of surrender, there's another story from our sources that I think is worth sharing.
Okay.
It's about a friend of Piyush's who was trapped in a toxic relationship.
Oh, wow. That sounds heavy.
Yeah, she had been holding on for years, hoping that things would change, but it
Mhm.
was just draining her energy, just dimming her light.
I could only imagine how difficult that must have been to be in that kind of situation
It is really hard.
and to have to make that decision
Mm-hmm.
to let go.
Yeah, it's hard to let go of something even when you know it's not good for you.
Exactly.
Absolutely. But eventually she found the strength to walk away.
Good for her.
And in doing so, she not only freed herself from all that negativity,
Yeah.
but she also opened up the possibility for something so much better to enter her life.
So in that case, letting go was about setting boundaries and prioritizing her own well-being.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And here's the amazing part. After she let go of that relationship, she discovered all these new passions and talents she never knew she had saved.
Oh, wow.
She started painting, she took up hiking, she even went back to school to pursue a degree she had always dreamed of.
It's like that saying, when one door closes, another one opens.
Yeah.
But sometimes we have to be the ones to let go of that closed door
Yes.
to see what's on the other side.
So true.
You know?
Letting go isn't about giving up.
Hmm.
It's about creating space for something new, something better to come into your life.
I'm sensing a theme here.
What's that?
That letting go is about shifting our performative, trusting the process,
Mm-hmm.
and ultimately having faith that something good is waiting for us on the other side.
You get it. It's a mindset shift.
Yeah.
For sure.
So this has been super insightful. I'm really enjoyed this conversation.
Me too.
But before we get too deep into the philosophical side of things,
Okay.
let's circle back to those practical techniques for letting go
Right.
that we were talking about earlier. We talked about mindfulness and visualization.
Mm-hmm.
But what about some of the other approaches?
Yeah, well, our sources actually list a whole bunch of different letting go strategies.
Okay.
Things like journaling, breathing exercises, even like physical release, like shaking out your body or practicing yoga.
I'm all for shaking things up.
Right.
But how do those physical practices tie into the mental and emotional aspects of letting go?
Well, think about it. When you're stressed or anxious, your body tenses up.
Yeah, that's true.
right? Your muscles tighten,
Mm-hmm.
your breathing gets shallow, and so these physical practices help to release that tension,
Yeah.
allowing you to like literally shake off the stress
Uh-huh.
and create space for more calm and clarity.
It's like giving your body permission to let go of that pent-up energy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of breathing, have you ever tried the 4-7-8 breathing technique?
I think I've heard of it.
Okay.
Refresh my memory.
Yeah, so you inhale for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 7 seconds,
Okay.
and then exhale slowly for 8 seconds.
That sounds easy enough. What's the science behind that?
It's all about slowing down your breath to calm your nervous system.
Okay.
So when you're stressed, your sympathetic nervous system kicks into gear,
Yeah.
triggering that fight or flight response.
Right.
And so the 4-7-8 breathing technique helps to activate your parasympathetic nervous system,
Okay.
which is responsible for rest and relaxation.
So it's like a quick reset button for your nervous system.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I could see how that could be helpful in those moments where you
Yeah.
feel that anxiety creeping in.
Mm-hmm. And the best part is you can do it anytime, anywhere.
Okay, I'm adding that to my list of things to try.
Great.
This whole deep dive has really opened my eyes to the power of letting go.
Yeah,
It's not just some woo-woo concept. It's like a real skill
it is.
that we can all develop to create more peace and freedom
At
in
our
our
level.
lives.
I couldn't agree more. It's about recognizing that we don't have to control everything,
Right.
and that sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is surrender and trust the process.
So what's the best way to start incorporating these ideas into our lives?
That's a great question.
Should we just pick one technique and go all in? Or is it
Ah.
more about trying different things and seeing what sticks?
I think it's a bit of both.
Okay.
Remember Piyush's challenge?
To pick one technique and practice it for a week?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's a great place to start.
Mm-hmm.
Choose one technique that really resonates with you
Okay.
and commit to practicing it consistently for the next 7 days.
And if you try something and it just doesn't click?
That's totally fine.
Okay.
And there's no one-size-fits-all approach to letting go. If one technique doesn't resonate, try a different one.
Mm-hmm.
Experiment, explore, and be patient with yourself.
It's like building any new skill.
It is.
It takes time. It takes effort.
Yeah,
And a willingness to step outside of your comfort zone sometimes.
absolutely. And remember, you don't have to do this alone.
That's right.
Share your experiences with a friend.
Yeah.
Join a meditation group.
Mm-hmm.
Connect with us on social media. We're all on this journey together.
I love that sense of community because it makes the whole process feel a lot less daunting.
It does.
And more like an adventure we're all embarking on together.
Absolutely. And speaking of adventure, one final thought I want to leave our listeners with.
Okay.
Letting go is not a destination. It's a journey. It's a continuous process
Yeah.
of growth and evolution.
Yeah.
There will be times when you just nail it,
Mm-hmm.
and there will be times when you just fall flat on your face.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Exactly. So be kind to yourself, trust the process,
Mm-hmm.
and keep practicing.
Yeah.
The more you let go, the more space you create for joy,
Yeah.
abundance, and just those magical synchronicities that make life so interesting.
I love that. That's a beautiful way to wrap things up.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing all of your wisdom and insights with us today.
The pleasure was all mine.
It's been an absolute pleasure diving deep into the art of letting go with you.
Me too.
And to our listeners, keep diving deep, keep exploring, and keep letting go of what no longer serves you.
Yes.
You've got this.
You do.
Until next time, stay curious, stay open, and keep letting go. Wow, so this is it, the final part of our deep dive on letting go. And I got to say, I'm feeling pretty inspired.
Me too. It's been quite a journey, hasn't it?
It really has. We've covered so much already.
Yeah, we have.
From mindfulness and visualization to like surrendering and trusting the process.
There's a lot to unpack.
It is. So what's standing out to you the most from what we've talked about?
You know, I think it's that reminder that letting go isn't passive.
Mhm.
Like, it's not just something that happens to us. It's an act of choice.
Yeah,
We're making to release something that's not serving us anymore.
right.
Whether it's that limiting belief or a past hurt or even just that need to control every little thing.
Right, right. I love that. Letting go is a choice. And I think what's so cool about this whole thing is that it's not just about feeling better,
Right.
even though that's a huge part of it.
Of course, of course.
It's about creating space for something new, like for growth and transformation, real transformation.
Absolutely. And speaking of transformation, I keep thinking back to Piyush and his friend,
Yeah,
their stories really highlight how letting go can have this ripple effect.
Mm-hmm.
Not only did they experience breakthroughs, but
Yeah.
they inspired others too.
It's true, and that makes me think about our listeners.
Yes.
What advice would you give to someone who's listening right now thinking, okay, I want to try this letting go thing, but I don't even know where to begin?
Well, remember Piyush's challenge to pick one technique and practice it for a week?
Yes.
That's a great place to start.
Okay.
Choose something that resonates with you,
Mm.
whether it's mindfulness, visualization, journaling, heck, even just shaking your body to get rid of that tension
Right.
and just commit to practicing it consistently for 7 days.
And what if they try something and it just doesn't feel right?
It
Yeah,
happens.
it doesn't
It
feel
totally, oh, okay, there's no one right way to do this letting go thing.
right.
If something doesn't resonate, try a different technique, experiment, explore, and be patient with himself.
It's like building any new skill. It takes time, effort, and a willingness to try new things, even when they feel a little uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And remember, you don't have to go through this alone.
That's right.
Talk to a friend, join a meditation group, connect with us on social media. We're all in this together.
It's that sense of community that makes it feel less scary, less overwhelming, more like we're all going on this adventure together.
I love that. Yeah.
Me too. So, speaking of an adventure,
Yes.
any final thoughts for our listeners today?
One last thing. Remember, letting go, it's not like a finish line you cross.
Yeah.
It's a journey. It's constantly evolving.
Uh,
There are going to be times when you're rocking it and
Yes.
times when you totally wipe out.
We've all been there.
And that's part of it.
It's part of the process.
It is. So be kind to yourself, trust the process, and just keep practicing.
Love it.
The more you let go, the more you open yourself up to joy, abundance, and those little synchronicities that make life so interesting.
That is a beautiful way to end our deep dive.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and insights with us today.
The pleasure was all mine, honestly.
It's been an honor diving deep into the art of letting go with you.
Likewise. And to our listeners, keep diving deep, keep exploring, keep letting go of those things that aren't serving you.
You've got this.
You do.
Until next time, stay curious, stay open, and keep letting go.